is the black on top or underneath the red?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation, leading.
I'll sustain the objection. All right, this might be a good time to take a break. Why don't we go ahead and take our
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
overrule.
What he was saying to me hurt just as bad as anything else.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, to the first message. Excuse me, Your Honor, to the second.
You mean the response?
Right. Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Well, I think in the context, Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
What's it for?
It's just telling the context of,
I'll sustain the objection. Thank you.
please continue and just say what he says and what he did and what your observations were.
He was accusing me of having a man in the house with me. At one point in our conversations, I told him about how...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Please try to continue without what you said, please.
He told me about...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Well, we have to be careful about what other people told you, okay? But you can testify to what you know, okay? So what happened then?
weed and coke. And then when he finished filming, the plan was to...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. And lack of...
Objection. I don't think it is. I think she was just explaining the context there. I don't think she was saying
Well, we
what
could
somebody
lay a foundation how she knew, but it's fine.
How did you know that?
I was involved in the conversations with the doctors and with his sister.
Objection,
And
Your Honor.
nurse.
That's still hearsay.
All right, I'll
Okay,
sustain the
that
objection.
That part is. So what happened next? As a result of these communications, without saying what the communications were?
A nurse came.
Objection, non-responsive.
I don't think it's non-responsive. She's explaining what led up to her tape recording and why. I mean, I can ask her, will that solve it? What?
And he would not remember. And if...
Calls for speculation.
She can say why she did it and what she thought.
But that last part called for speculation. I'll sustain the
Don't
objection.
say, I knew. Why did you tape record?
In my experience, when Johnny was that inebriated, he would not remember what he had done.
Calls for speculation.
How can that call for speculation?
I'll sustain the objection.
All right, let's go to defendants 221.
Get up off the couch, and Johnny's son says...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
They are not offered to prove the truth of the matter. It explains what's coming.
Give you a good approach. I just don't know.
One of these is like...
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
I think it's responsive, yeah.
The question was, with whom did you go?
If we could ask the question.
Tell us how you felt and what you were thinking in this process of whether to go to have Christmas with Mr. Depp and his children.
You know, I guess I was trying to explain...
Go ahead.
That, just after you think each one of these is...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustain the
It's not
objection.
offered to prove the truth of the matter, but
Sustain.
because you didn't have an accident.
Your Honor.
All right.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay, please continue. So did you appear on the show?
I appeared on the show
Okay. And
using coke, and they wouldn't put him under because of all the coke. So,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain as to the
Foundation.
last part.
Okay.
All right, next question.
so when did you next communicate? When did you next see Mr. Depp after you got back from Australia?
I saw him a few days because things had changed, and without saying what they said to me,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
She said without saying.
She's characterizing it.
Well, I'll overrule for now. We'll see where we go.
I became really, really worried that
In that recording?
yes,
Objection. Form. Lack of foundation.
You want to approach? I'm not sure.
but I was in such shock and
Objection,
didn't-
Your Honor, non-responsive.
I don't know how that's non-responsive.
We're going to ask you a question again.
Okay. Please tell us how you felt at that point and what Mr. Depp was saying to you.
I remember.
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
She was in the middle of responding to it, Your Honor, and Your Honor said,
It was
ask
a different
question.
question, but I'll sustain that objection if you want to ask a question.
Okay. How did you feel at that time?
I felt destroyed.
Is the black on top or underneath the red?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation, leading.
I'll sustain the objection. All right, this might be a good time to take a break. Why don't we go ahead and take our afternoon
Mr.
break?
Depp did this.
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
What if any reason do you believe that Mr. Depp did this?
Objection,
That was not. What if any?
What's the objection?
leading.
No, I'll overrule that objection.
Thank you.
It was just Johnny and I in that house over the course of those 3 days, roughly. At one point in our conversations, I told him about how.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Please try to continue without what you said, please.
I said something to him, and he got so angry at me, he slapped me across the face. But he did it like, we're on an island. I'm trying to take care of him, and he was hallucinating. And
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled.
screaming at me for things that I said when I didn't say any. I hadn't said anything. I would tell him, Johnny.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Well, I think in the context, Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
What's it for?
It's just telling the context of.
I'll sustain the objection. Thank you.
Please continue and just say what he says and what he did and what your observations were.
He was accusing me of having a man in the house with me. We were in a single.
Along that line.
Objection, form, compound.
I'll allow it, but just for trying to keep the record clear, 272 has already been entered into evidence without that redactions, and there wasn't any objection. So I would wish if I could have both sides to keep track of their evidence. It's not my job to keep this.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just got a note to that effect. So
Okay, so 272 is an evidence without, you can clear the redaction and publish it. It's really the party's responsibility to take care of the record, not mine.
my apologies on that one, Your Honor. All right.
But I bargained with him.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Don't say what you said, just say what he said, okay?
He.
I'm going to object to the exhibit as hearsay.
I'm not sure who's in the.
Awful at times, but I loved him. And what he
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled.
What he was saying to me hurt just as bad as anything else. I just remember that he left me on the.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
I'm going to take you to.
Objection calls for hearsay and speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
So don't tell what the staff said, what happened next.
Then I start communicating with Johnny.
And when you say started, I mean, was he on the phone? Did you call him? What
You
Objection,
took all of
hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
There were only a few left in the bag, so I think it was what he took. And I said, Johnny, that
Objection, hearsay.
he confirmed that he took that amount and that he could take that amount.
And what amount?
He was a lovely gentleman.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
That's not offered to prove the truth of the matter.
Overruled.
Thank you.
And then when it came up with his sister,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It was not offered to prove the truth of the matter. She hasn't even said it yet. But try not to say what you're saying unless it needs it for context or something. Try to say what he's
I'll
saying.
sustain the objection.
Okay.
He was just belligerent. I don't know how to describe to you because it wasn't making sense. It wasn't making sense. He was drinking.
Calls for speculation and leading.
No, I'll sustain as the leading.
What, if any, drinks had you observed Mr. Depp have by this time?
Well, I had already seen him drink right in front of me. He took a big swig
Drugs.
to sedate
Objection,
me.
Your Honor. Hearsay.
Trying to give her drugs? She
Yeah,
didn't say
overruled
anything.
the-
Thank
okay.
you. Keep going. Forgive me for asking this, but I need to just make sure the record's clear. You were penetrated up the vagina into the pubic bone, is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Sustained.
What, if any, penetration was there in your vagina with the bottle? I'm so sorry.
Do this.
I am so sorry.
Johnny had the bottle inside of me.
Did the table collapse?
Yes, it did.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Sustained.